What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. Now, today on the 1st and 15th, been thinking about a lot of things lately, and one of the things that I'm going to tie all together is what was hip hop supposed to be? And this is the thing because it seems like everybody's upset with everything that's going on in rap. There are obviously things here and there that people get excited about, but overall, people tend to typically be frustrated, disappointed, upset, complaining about something. And that somewhat has me curious as to what hip hop was supposed to be. And, when I started thinking about this, I'm like, let's look at the history. Of course, everybody knows hip hop culture was founded, created, and practiced by people that made something out of nothing. And right there, that's something to be applauded and celebrated, which is something that we've been doing since the inception of the culture. And it really started as party music, a party scene, a party vibe to escape the deplorable conditions, of course, that were happening in New York City in the 1970s and in the other cities soon thereafter or around the same time that were delivering hip hop culture. These are the major cities, major urban areas in the United States, and New York, of course, created it, and then it spawned quickly from there. But this was created as a party culture to escape these terrible situations, the Reaganomics, all the different things that had for centuries and decades been building and building and building that led to the release that hip hop culture was and that rap music in particular remains. Now, you have party music that started in the mid 70s before we get to record in 79. And then when the records start coming out in 1979, with King Tim III, with Rapper's Delight, etc., it's party music, which is a reflection of the tapes that we would all, I later got to listen to, of course, but the tapes that were circulating that people knew. And then we started hearing it on record, and it was not coincidentally a reflection of that, which was the party music. As I've mentioned in other videos, and I talked about was rap gangster before gangster rap. You can check out the link to that there. But in that video, I discuss in more detail, you get rap, you get DJing, you get breaking, and you get graffiti, all of which are celebrations of art, all of which are ways to express, to escape the hellish reality that America had created for especially black and brown people, but also disenfranchised people of all backgrounds. And that's what hip hop culture ended up being and why we end up loving it and celebrating, because out of it came this amazing art form that resonates till today and is as popular and as big as ever. But by the time we get to 1980, we start seeing some of these sprinkles of conscious rap, which with Kurtis Blow, with Hard Times, with The Breaks, of course, in 1982, Grandmaster Flash Furious 5 with The Message. You got Run-DMC in 1983 redoes or covers Hard Times by Kurtis Blow, and they also have It's Like That. But, the revisionist history is rap was always conscious, rap always was conscious music. It wasn't, but that became this prevalent thing and a running thing and a running theme that a lot of people use to talk about rap. And rap throughout its history by and large has had a lot of social commentary. That's something that continues till today. Some of the great music that's being released in 2024 has it. We'll be discussing some of that in a minute. But the main thing that I'm getting at is rap started as party, and then it evolved into conscious music. And then by the time the explosion of gangster rap happens in 1989, thanks to N.W.A, we had it before. We had Schoolie D, we had Ice-T, we had Boogie Down Productions, we had King T, we had these other artists and many others that were rapping about gangster street stuff. But N.W.A, of course, Hollywoodized it and made it into a big commodity and changed the landscape of music. So for the next several years, and again, just like conscious rap, gangster rap remains strong and vibrant and alive and evolving today. And that was great for a time to a lot of people, but it was also terrible to a lot of people. And today, a lot of people still consider gangster rap a horrible thing. I, of course, don't. I think there's a lot of great things that gangster rap brought to the table. That's why I wrote my book, The History of Gangster Rap, because I think there's such a brilliance and artistic exploration that we get from gangster rap, talking about societal ills in a way that even political rap didn't. So I think right there it has tremendous value. But gangster rap, of course, laid way to what I'd say was the next major movement was the South. So we have New York and the East Coast and that mentality of music doing its thing. Then we have gangster rap come in and do its thing largely on the West Coast, but that also opened the doors for a lot of other West Coast artists that may or may not have gotten opportunity because everybody was looking into business to the West Coast. So, and then you had hugely successful records from Tone Loc and Young MC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sir Mix-a-Lot that were not gangster, but were hugely successful in some of the biggest rap records and rap albums and rap songs at the time. But a few years later, it becomes the Southern movement. And to me, that really started in earnest, even though, of course, Southern rap had been thriving and doing well before. But I think the shift really, to me, the line of demarcation of Southern playlist of Cadillac Music in 94 with Outkast. And then the South really started its run, in my opinion. Of course, before that, you had Ghetto Boys, you had Two Lab Crew, and a host of others, UGK, etc., 8 Ball and MJG. But to me, that's really where we get this line of demarcation. South got something to say, and Outkast and Dungeon Family and Organized Noise were presenting themselves as Southern with Southern accents, Southern styles, Southern videos, Southern presentation. And that really, to me, set off the wave that continues, like New York rap and conscious rap till today, and gangster rap till today, Southern rap till today. And now that hip hop is 50 years old, give or take, I'd say most, if not all, the regions of the United States, rappers are popping up from all over the country. Now we have basically instantaneous worldwide distribution, and some people are able to catch on. So people have seats at the table. People have an opportunity to get out there. We have a chance to hear voices. I would argue there's too many voices, and we do need to trim down the volume of music and the number of artists, but this gives everybody an opportunity to create their art. And I thought that's what we wanted. The voice of the voiceless has now become the voice of the many, which enables new people to get on, to get popular, to get successful, to make a good single, to make a hit single, or just to make a song that people like. Even if you don't like it, I'm sure if you go back to when you were first getting into rap, you didn't like every single artist that was out there. I know I didn't growing up. I liked most of them, but definitely not all of them. And that continues till today. But Snoop Dogg is part of the Olympics. LL Cool J is putting out a new album. Common and Pete Rock just put out, the Auditorium Volume 1. I mean, there's all kinds of great things that are going on. And that, I thought, was the point, to have hip hop get it this far, as Biggie would say, to make it so big that it matters. Even a show like, if you watch on Apple Plus, The Morning Show, which I watched, they played The Lox's Money, Power, and Respect in the scene. Like, really? This is a show about the TV news industry. So it's just crazy that all these things are happening. And I thought that's what I know I would have wanted, or said, hey, down the 50 years down the line, what would you want rap to be? And I'd say super popular, so many styles, different perspectives, all these different things going on, being in television, being in film, the artist being spokesperson, spokespeople, the artists doing so many great things, which they're doing and continue to do in new and innovative ways. I thought that's what the plan was. So I always get confused, concerned, worried, not really understanding, because we do have a lot of great tours that are also going on. We have a lot of great music coming out, some of which I'm about to mention, but I thought that's what we wanted. So there's basically, you can listen to all the music on digital platforms now. You can discover new music if you're so inclined, and I would encourage you to, because there's a lot of great music. Many of the people I'm gonna mention are artists that have been out for decades. So most likely, if you're in an older demographic in the rap world like myself, you've been listening to these artists, most of them, for a long time. And like I said, Common and P Rock with the Auditorium Volume 1 coming out in the 1990s, and they're still putting it down, making great music. And if you want to get to something more current in what's happening now, of course, Kendrick Lamar. Everybody's still talking about everything that he was doing in his pop-up concert and all these different things. You got Vince Staples, one of my other favorites of the quote unquote newer era of artists. He put out Dark Times. And then you have Richmond Hill, Master Ace and Marco Polo, one of my favorite albums of the year. Master Ace been out since the 80s, putting down, and conscious rap. So he's very thoughtful, very thought-provoking. Vince Staples is a blend of gangster and conscious. And then you get, the Re-Slaps by Dazzy D, someone from the Lynch Mob that Ice Cube helped put on back in the day, and he's still making great music. You got Season of the Cygnus 2, Brother Lynch Hung with the Kevlar, man. Great album if you're into Brother Lynch, West Coast. Then we got the South with Juicy J, Mental Trimness Part 2. So you got Glasses Malone, keeping the West Coast, fuck Glasses Malone. You got West Coast Bay Area Hayward with the Platinum OG by Spice One. So there's so much of this great music that's coming out, and from different regions, different styles, whether you like the Southern stuff, whether you like West Coast, whether you like Bay Area West Coast, whether you like East Coast rap, whether you like political rap, there's all different styles and sounds. Common's from the Midwest, of course, working with P-Rock from New York. They've worked together before, and I think this is another great installment that they have in both of their legacies. And I think it's also important as we think about all this stuff. One of my favorite albums from 2020 was A Beautiful Revolution by Common, Part 1. And, Common has been putting out a lot of great music, and he's very successful as an actor. He's got a lot going on. Of course, he's been doing it for a long time, but I also would think like we would want to grow and evolve with our artists. But I would say Common is the type of artist that's political, he's positive, he has very thought-provoking music. He's working with P-Rock, one of the best producers of all time. Shout out to P-Rock, check out one of my interviews with him right there. But the main point of all of this is to say that isn't this what we wanted? Wouldn't we want them to be releasing great music that we could listen to, that we could support by streaming it in the modern era? We could still try to buy it, a physical copy, and or go see them in concert, which they're touring. I thought that's what this was about, wanting to be able to see all this stuff. So as I think about all this, and I'm just like, I'm very grateful because my dream as a kid was to be able to do all this for a living. And I figured out a way, and I was lucky and fortunate and had people help me out and look out for me to where I've been able to do this for my job. And part of my job is getting to listen to all this music and interview the artists and spend time, thinking about it and writing about it and doing videos about it and doing interviews. And that's, living the dream. I'm literally living my dream that I had when I was 12 years old. After listening to rap since I was 10, when I was 12 is when I said, man, this is what I want to do for a living. Now I just got to figure out how to do it, coming from Maryland with two parents who were school teachers and having no knowledge of the music industry, no connection to it, and no local music scene to speak of where I grew up in Maryland. So I'm living the dream, and every day I'm so fortunate and so grateful and so blessed and so happy that I get to listen to all this music and talk to Master Ace, talk to Spice One, talk to Dana Dane. This is dreams come true, and get to meet the new and up and coming. I've interviewed Kendrick before. I know Vince Staples. So it's like all these different things. I know I've interviewed Common multiple times. I've interviewed Pete Rock multiple times. So this is it. And we are here. And I'd say for me, I'm always grateful, and I always take time to appreciate and celebrate this stuff. That's why I do Unique Access. And that's why, as I was thinking about the 1st and 15th, why it's so important and so valuable and so necessary that when Common and Pete Rock decide to put out an album together, that we need to support it. So that's what I want to talk to you about here on the 1st and 15th. But, maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But what was hip hop supposed to be for you? And what ways has it made you happy? What ways has it disappointed you? Of course, it's done both for me, but overall, I'm living a dream, and I'm grateful beyond compare that I get to do so. And I'm also grateful beyond compare for Unique Access because it enables me in new and different ways to keep doing what I love. And thank you to every single one of you that's watched one of my videos, watched one of our videos, that's subscribed, that's a member. Any way that you supported myself or Unique Access over the years, I'm greatly, deeply appreciative of it because, like an artist, I need you guys to support us in order for me to keep doing it. So that's what I got to say here on the 1st 15th. As always, please hit us up in the comment section. Like us, subscribe to Unique Access if you haven't already. Join us if you can as a member. And that's really it, man. I just appreciate it. You can follow me on all social media at Soren Baker. And I'll catch you next time on the 1st and 15th.